anybody and everybody to do it. I don't care what side of the fence anybody is on. Call in, let's discuss. But if your only rebuttal to anything is name calling, Eric might not be below the belt on that one, but I sure as fuck will be. Just saying. So
I see it getting worse and worse and worse, the name calling. I spent today looking into it. There is a story I want to get into that sparked this whole day of research for me. And maybe I'll start with that. And anyone who has an opinion, please feel free, Eric at ericandgore.world, or the phone, or you can live chat with me right now on Spreaker.com if you happen to be listening on Spreaker. If you're not, then you're not hearing this right now, so it doesn't matter. But you can always chat online with us while we're on the air. Now, this story blew my mind, and I can't believe it's true. I've gotten very little to rebut it at the moment. But there's a law in California that's trying to make its way through the channels that would excuse LGBT pedophiles from prosecution if they are within 10 years of the age of their victim. So if you're 22 and you have a sexual relationship with a 12-year-old, you may be excused from prosecution under this law that they're trying to pass. Now, it is strictly for LGBT pedophiles, but obviously it'll open the gate to heterosexual pedophiles. You can't just you can't have a law that distinguishes between the two, right? So if you're a 21-year-old man and you feel like committing statutory rape on an 11-year-old girl, you may, under California law, be excused from prosecution for that. That's the beginning of the end, in my opinion. It absolutely does. It's only in California. We're not stupid enough to do something like that in Canada.
Yes.
But if we do, I mean, this whole thing that Todd Cochran is crying about, the attribution thing online, that was a strictly California law that the entire podcasting world adopted because California led the charge on that. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that this catches on because California wants it to. Now, let me just reiterate, in case you don't know where I'm going with this. If you're a statutory rapist and your victim is less than 10 years
you're a senior,
different from your age, you may be not prosecuted. So if you're 19 and your victim is 9, that's okay.
Oh, Jesus.
Right. It just... now there's limits to this that I didn't investigate fully, so I'm not getting the entire story. It's obviously a little bit sensationalized, but the fact that it's a conversation at all, I'm sure these MAPS fucking podcasters are loving this. There's a group of people that side with these fucking motherfuckers, and think that they deserve some sort of rights or some sort of freedom to do what they do. And no, they don't at all, ever. I don't care what you went through. I don't care what dirty uncle fucked you up. Pedophilia is never going to be okay. Not ever. It's not in the Bible. Don't listen to your Catholic priest. Your dirty uncle didn't make it okay. You should have told your parents when you were younger. And if they didn't help you, I'm very sorry. But it doesn't translate into it's okay to fuck kids. Never.
I'm literally biting my tongue right now.
Well, just keep biting your own tongue and not a fucking 12-year-old's, and we'll be okay. I don't... now... luckily, I'm an old man, and no one within 10 years of my age is under 30, so... we're okay.
I say easiest thing, when you see a law like this get passed, the first thing you do is who came up with the law, and then who signed in and agreed with it.
Yeah.
And you charge them with pedophilia. That's it.
Yeah, but that's the thing. We are there's groups of people that are actively trying to keep the conversation going to normalize this. And even to have a legitimate conversation, to have a piece of legislation that's even being debated normalizes these motherfuckers. It makes them... We shouldn't be debating these pieces of legislation. We just take it out of the hands of the person who suggests it, and then we chemically castrate them, and then we beat them to death. It should be that simple. We don't actually sit down and have an adult discussion about this. We don't entertain that you sick, twisted rapists have any sort of cards in this game. Once you're a pedophile, the conversation starts and ends there. We don't, we should consider your feelings? No, we shouldn't.
Should, in the sense that we should consider hurting them.
It's the same thing I said yesterday about these drills, these active shooter drills. Kids need to be kids. They don't need. We can't make an 8-year-old sexualized and make that normal. That's why they are all fucked up and they're cutting themselves and they're doing weird shit and they're shooting up their schools. Our brains at that age are not meant to handle these kind of decisions. We can't make them. We can't deal with them at that age. We're not supposed to, and that's fine. Let your kids be kids. And don't start fucking them until they're... ever. Until they're adults. And even then, young adults, stay away from them, too. It's not okay just because they're 18. Seriously, you never... My bus that I have to take now... stops at a university, and it's usually about a 20-minute stop. It's actually the university that I attended briefly. And they all look like kids. They look like little kids to me. I feel like a dirty old man even being there. I can't imagine that we're trying to normalize this behavior. It's not normal, and I think the death penalty should be brought back strictly just for pedophiles. Or... if you see a pedophile or you know of one in your neighborhood, call a cop and tell them he's a black kid so they just shoot him.
That's terribly funny. Fantastically funny. Oh,
sorry.
Jesus, I needed that.
Sorry, American cops. Proof. Stop.
Brought it on themselves, you bunch of racist cocksuckers.
Stop making me right. This is ridiculous. Come on. People are still talking about Michael Vick and dogfighting, but we're trying to make kid fucking normal. What the fuck is wrong with your country?
No, so to bring this thing back to where we sort of started this rant, one of the so like I said, to start off with the discussion about really what it comes down to is truth. Eric and I were discussing this off air before we started the show, and this is infuriating to even have to openly admit on the air, and I'm going to have to do it because it's the only way to prove a point. As people know by listening to the show, we are not Trump supporters. We do not support and condone what Trump does. He has done good things. We have pointed said things out. And yes, Eric, even you have pointed a couple of things, good things that he's done and pointed out to me. It's what happens. But the frustrating thing is that when you're talking, whether it's American politics or North American politics, because Canada is no fucking different. The difference is in Canada, both sides are completely fucked and whatever else where, they're both fucked, so it doesn't matter. They're both pretty much the same. But as a human, you can't willfully, without having your head completely buried up your ass and in the sand, you cannot vote in Canada for Liberal, in the U.S. for Democrat. You can't vote for them simply because they do not, A, believe in truth at all. 2, they do not believe in recognizing even when someone you don't like has done well. They don't believe in recognizing that. They will do anything they can to make sure that that does not ever happen. But the big thing, and this is one of the biggest things ever, Democrats, for the most part liberals, you are the most backwards thinking, violent, and, I'm going to say it, racist groups on the planet. You want racism. You want division, because when you point it out at every point, when somebody just walks by and says, hey, look, there's a black guy, that's racist. No, it's not. Plain and simple.
They do want it because
racism.
Their whole platform is based on fear. And
that's right.
They need, predominantly in the U.S., they need black people to be afraid. These evil Republicans they want to take away your welfare. They want to, they do. They want you all to have jobs. That's not, Democrats and liberals base their whole argument on making us scared. That's what I said in my very cursed run for mayor. They rely on two things. They rely on you believing that they have your best interests at heart, and that they're the only ones who can make these decisions for you. And once you stop believing those two things, they lose all their power. So they do want the division, and they want you to remain uneducated. They want you to be stupid and complacent. Because once you learn the truth, they have nothing to stand on.
It's very true. If you go look at the stats on anything, when the liberals or Republican or Democrats, I should say, when either one of those two are in power, look how many more people are on welfare. Look how many more people are reliant on the government for everything than on the other side, where people are more independent. People are, standing up for their own rights. People are being better at what they're better at. The numbers on that, I'm not necessarily a numbers guy, but the numbers don't lie on that.
No, they don't.
So, again, I do not like Trump at all. I don't like him as a person. I do not like him as a figurehead. I do not like him as a leader. But one thing is for sure. He has gotten results in a positive light in the U.S. The biggest things that every single election is about, minus the fad of the moment, but the biggest things, economics, the status of the country itself and where it stands financially, the standings of minorities and blacks and everything else. All those things always come into play for everyone. But you know what? Trump's is the only one that's had the best ratings. And maintain them.
I can't find the name of the lady I'm thinking of, who I watched quite a bit of today, just footage of her on various news shows, and I'm going to try to find it. She's a black female Republican, very unpopular among people who think that should be unacceptable, and she gets a lot of shit from black women for being a supporter. And it's funny that even, she says very controversial things, i.e., stop being mad about slavery. Candace Owens, thank you, is her name. Candace Owens